Hi, and welcome to Sacred Intimate Life. My name is Shannon, and I'm here just to share a little bit of insight and wisdom, and hopefully to demystify some things surrounding relationships. I by no means am a master, and even if I was a master, masters are constantly learning and evolving and opening up to deeper insights because life is not stagnant, it is constantly shifting and evolving and changing. And so you are a part of life. And so this is a moment where we can all learn more. And this conversation today, or topic today, was inspired by a conversation I overheard a couple of people, a man and a woman, having a conversation at a coffee shop. And I've just been thinking about it from how it relates to my own experience in relationships. And so I just thought to get on and experiment with sharing. So I will do my best to make it concise and as insightful as possible. So the topic today is, will we ever get it right in relationships? Like, can we ever get it right? And this question is, I'm holding my giant selenite here. This question is inspired by this idea of perfectionism that shows up in relationships where I watch good-hearted and good-intentioned people sabotage their most loving potential relationships through this idea of perfection. And one way that perfectionism shows up is in the innocent and well-intentioned men who really just want to get it right. So men have more of a single focus. They want to accomplish a goal and they want to succeed in accomplishing that goal. And women, we are more diffused in our awareness. We can feel and sense all these different things all at once. And men really want to do a good job. They want to do right by their women. They want to provide for their women, and they really want to know that they made a positive impact. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to this statement here, but most men are good men and they want to do a good job, right? They might be performance driven, and women may also be performance driven in some ways, but in this example, I'm speaking more so to how men can be performance driven and women might be more experience driven. So I'll just share from my own experience in life is I've been in various relationships, and every relationship I've been in, I've had this desire to understand and love and accept the man that I'm in a relationship with. And I also have a higher tolerance for chaos and for disorder and for the process of relating, like whatever that illuminates. And I've noticed this tendency for men to back out of a relationship when they feel like they're not getting it right. Now, this can be for two reasons. One reason is it can be because the women are sabotaging. So let me give an example. A well-intentioned man does his best, tries his hardest, gives it all he's got, and it's just never enough. Meaning she's constantly complaining. She has more requests. She's asking him to bend and bend and bend and bend. And he's like, dang, I'm really giving it my all and I'm bending and you can't see how I'm bending and how I'm giving it my all. And I'm just going to fail no matter what. So because I'm recognizing and registering that I'm going to fail no matter what, I'm just going to back out. That's one example. The other example is when a man is feeling insecure within himself and any request a woman makes, even if she's not making too many requests of him, if she's having a bad day and he's internalizing her bad day as he did something wrong, if he's consistently giving himself the feedback that he's failing, he's going to potentially back out. Now, the example that I saw of this couple was basically he was informing her that he felt like at some point that he just wasn't able to provide her what her needs were. And she was expressing to him that her experience was different and that he was providing for her needs. And so they were having this moment of like post relationship epiphany where he had internalized from whatever the feedback was that he wasn't doing it right. And because he couldn't fulfill her needs and couldn't do it right, he backed out. And they were having this moment of pause and sort of like witnessing of this. The point that I'm trying to make with this is that we need to be mindful of the stories that we're telling ourselves in relationship, because in my experience, relationship is so much more nuanced than just one moment of feedback or 10 moments of feedback. Why we get into relationships is typically for something deeper. It's to experience something more profound than our day-to-day lives. And I believe that this world that we've been raised in, that has us conditioned to see things in right or wrong, in success and failure, has us sabotaging our relationships. And our relationships are really a grounds for learning. There are grounds to have us reveal to ourselves and to one another deeper layers of ourselves than we could have without the reflection. It's not about getting it right. So the trick of this title here is like, will we ever get it right? Like, I'm not sure if we'll ever get it right, because the whole point of a relationship isn't to get it right. It's to love. And love sees beyond getting it right. Love, a real unconditional love, like a parent has for their child or should have for their child. You watch your child succeed, you love them. You watch your child fail at something, you love them equally. Their value, baby's value, holding your baby in your arms, their value isn't determined based on whether or not they perform in a certain way in their life. Their value is intrinsic because they exist. Same with people, same with the people we get into relationships with. Their value is based on the fact that they exist. They have intrinsic value in their beingness. And so what a great partner would do is to be able to hopefully see this value in the other and love themselves enough to be secure in themselves so that they can reflect this acceptance of the other. And circling it back to this topic, I see men in their fear of failure sabotaging love with women that love them unconditionally, not because the woman sees them as a failure, but because they feel like a failure. And it's really something I'd like to encourage any man who's watching this to, and any woman who's watching this, just to understand this, that like a man might sabotage a relationship because he feels like a failure. And it's not because you complained or because you had a request of him. It's because he is internalizing this story that he's a failure. And on the flip side, if you're a woman who's hypercritical, you need to be aware that maybe your man left because you're reflecting to him constantly that he's a failure. So it can happen in both ways. It can happen because the woman is super unintegrated and constantly critical, and the man really was doing his best and he's never going to get it right. Or the woman's not doing that and the man's just very insecure and he's going to interpret anything like a failure, and then that's on him. But in either situation, these individuals are sabotaging something that could be really amazing. And, you know, obviously when a relationship ends or it's not, two people aren't able to like alchemize all that together, moving on is probably the best like option. However, what I'm advocating for is the awareness that can be integrated in a subtler way, hopefully, so that we can, if we enter into a new relationship, stop sabotaging the relationship. Like, oh man, like just this man that I dated that I absolutely love. He interpreted every desire I had as if he was a failure because he wasn't providing that desire just on his own. And I'm someone who studied how to feel confident enough in myself to even ask for what I want. I used to just be a doormat. So the fact that I had the courage to even ask for something was new for me. And it was just a shock to me to watch that, just the sheer request of him of something that he wasn't just offering naturally had him feel like he was a failure. And that's not on me, because I actually thought he was really, really great. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be thinking that he could possibly fulfill any desire I had or request I had. I wouldn't date a guy unless I felt like he was super amazing. And so I may be super messy in this conversation, this topic, this share. I just felt, and I might come on again, I just felt like super called to visit this topic because I was watching this couple share their post-relationship reflection, and felt like it was important to touch base on. So I'm going to attend to my child right now, but I hope that you guys are doing great, and would love to come on here again sometime, and maybe I'll be less fumbly. And even if I am fumbly, it is perfectly okay, because nobody is perfect.